record. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. So we're just trying to keep everything a little bit different each week with our training and stuff like that. So something that we've really started to put into action more and more is inviting and planning event from event, presentation to presentation, information session, whatever you want to call it. So everyone on here is from different areas, different sort of times that you've been in the business, but the one thing that really, really pays off is consistency. And I guess I just want you guys to keep in mind, even if you're in an area where there isn't an open presentation or information session or anything like that, that's how I started. There was no one here. There was no support. The nearest person to me was an 8-hour drive away. So if I wanted to do this, I had to do it. I didn't know how to use a computer. I didn't know how to use a presentation. I didn't know how to speak in front of people because I certainly didn't know anything about the products. But I really wanted this and I wanted to share it. So I had to learn all of it. And it's just how it is. So if you are in one of those other areas, the beauty of this is we can help you. We can support you if you're in an area where we're not, and we can help you get started. We can do online information sessions or events, whatever you guys want. You are blessed to have a support team that we want to help you. So if you don't have any of this, please make sure you reach out to us and ask. But if you don't take the action, it's not going to happen. It's as simple as that. It's uncomfortable. I hate to admit it, but I used to have to scull wine before I did anything because I just couldn't do it without it. It's not like people sort of look at us sometimes now and go, oh, it's okay for you. You're confident. No way. I wasn't confident. I thought I was dumb. I thought I didn't know. I didn't know anything about all the products. If people even asked me a question, I would just freeze and just go, I actually can't answer that right now, but I will ask someone and I'll get back to you soon. Is that okay? That's just what I had to do. So, and even to this day, I still don't know the answers to all the questions, and I'm okay with that because it makes it real and anyone can do this. So I guess just be comfortable with that. People are okay if you're honest. So I just wanted to share that before we start because I know a lot of the time we all sit back and go, oh, that's okay for you, or I can't do that, but everyone can do this. And that's the beauty of it. And we are here to support you guys to help you do it. So we've got Jodie Spinks on tonight. She is an awesome leader within our team who is really in action. She's probably like all of us. She's got excuses she could use. She has a family, a busy family of 3 kids and a husband, and life isn't always easy, but she is making it happen because of her dreams that she's going to, go out and make it happen. So I'm going to get Joes to share a bit about what she's doing, what's working, so that you guys can, learn from that. And also, if you guys have questions along the way, make sure you ask. Don't sit there and think that your question's going to be stupid. It's absolutely not. We want it. The more interactive we can make this, the better. Mm-hmm. So, Jodes, how you going, girlfriend?
Hey. So I was very much same situation as AK. The closest person to me was like 4.5 hours, so I had to do it. And for some weird reason, I just decided in my head, like I think it was week 2, I went to just visit some friends and. But I took my iPad and I took a video and is my internet cutting out?
You're good now. You went through a bit of a...
Sorry, all the kids should be off the internet, but we'll see what happens. So I literally just went to people's house, had a coffee with them and pushed play on the iPad. They watched a little video and they asked questions and I said, oh, I'm not too sure, like AK said, I'll find out for you and I'll quickly ring someone and say, this is what they want to know. And they would hear me ringing them and answering the questions. So that showed them as well that if they were going to do it, they could do it. So that's how I started. But going back to events and face-to-face, I love doing like social media, online events and things like that, but you really do need to do face-to-face connection. Like it just doesn't, you just can't get better than that. And you need to get yourself a calendar. I've just got one of these cheapy ones from Kmart and plan out your month and just book in dates that you're going to either hold a presentation. So locally, we've decided we're doing a once a month open presentation, and we've planned those dates out for the rest of the year. Even if no one shows up, we're going to be there and we're going to have wine and cheese and have a really good time. And I think getting people to those events can be hard because we sort of got out of the habit of doing our monthly events over winter. It all just got too hard. We were making excuses. So we're back into that now. And even though people, you know, we're only getting maybe 5 or 6 people there, which is fantastic. It's the inviting people and opening the conversation and the social media photos, because people want to see what you're up to for maybe 2 or 3 events before they decide that they're going to come, and they can see, you know, who's there and what's happening, and sort of doing that big brother sneak peek at what's going on before they actually come to your event. That's why it's really important to have the dates booked in, and just keep doing them, keep in the motion of doing those monthly events. The other thing I wanted to mention was different types of events. Don't think you have to stick to doing presentations and slideshows and exactly the same as everyone else is doing. You know, we've got a few girls in the team. Ours is called Women, Wellness and a Dash of Wine, and we call it an info session, and we just have the products out and we don't even do a presentation. We just talk and mingle, and it's sort of the products just come in conversation. I know Claire and Vanessa have done like a women's wellness lunch series. So same thing, they didn't do an official presentation. They got a guest speaker in that was interesting to listen to and just created that connection in their community. So think of different ways that might work for you. We do another monthly catch-up that's just a mama's coffee date, and we have a local Facebook mums group, and we just put a little invite on there. We'll be at the coffee shop 10:30 on this date. Come along if you want some, you know, adult conversation, you know, and we get just cold contact women coming along and having a coffee with us, you know, and they just ask, you know, what do you do? And we ask them lots of questions. So think about different ways that you can just network and meet other new people, and that's going to build up your confidence as well. I think it's really important. Yeah,
I love that. And so that's really important to remember. So we are building connections, building relationships.
Yeah.
So it's really important to sort of, if you want to go sort of more cold market, if your warm market's kind of exhausted, well then this is what we've got to do. How are we going to meet people? I know Sarah, Ivy and I have been doing the same with the Mums and Bubs presentations. That's sort of where we're at in our lifestyle. So we're kind of connecting with other women like that we can help. And it's really important to know that you don't just launch it and it's amazing. You know, there's been quite a few where Sarah and I will be dragging along with our crazy toddlers screaming. By the time we get there at 10 in the morning, we want to rip our hair out because it's so hard to get there. We've maybe had the treats with us or whatever, and no one might come, or maybe one person comes, and you just want to sit there and cry because it's hard work. And for what? You know, you think to yourself, what did I bother? But that one person might be that person who enrolls in your business, who completely changes your life and their life and everyone else. Or they might know someone who they then invite along. You just don't know. So I guess that's why it's really important that when we're here, we're decided we're going to do this, and no matter what, we keep going. And if it doesn't work a couple of times, we might try the same thing, not working. So then we're like, okay, that's not working. I know we discussed, Sarah and I said, you know, this time of day might not be suiting other mums. So maybe we need to adjust the time, or maybe we need to try a different day. We just got to keep trying until we find what works. It might be the wrong target market. We might need to try a lunch like you guys have done, or it's just You've just got to find what works. And I think if you find what you really connect with, what your passion is, I know I loved seeing the photos of Claire and Nessa's women's lunch, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And how many women would love to go along? And they didn't just go straight into the business opportunity or anything like that, but you're connecting with other women who then go, oh, wow, you ladies are awesome. I want to be around you. And that lead into what is it that you do. So it's not just, you've just got to find what works. And then it's really important to have, Jo, do you have one event planned, and then what's happening next? You know where you're headed from that one to the next.
Yeah, and you must, like, at the event that you're at, you tell them the date for the next one and say, next time I do a giveaway at every one of my events, just a lucky door prize or something like that. And I tell them, so if they've had a great time, next time we'll be talking about, choose a slightly different topic. You might do like something specific to women's energy or mum energy, and then the next one you're going to talk a little bit about kids' health or whatever you decide to do, but tell them what the next one is. And if you bring a friend along, you get an extra entry into the door prize, and get them excited at that event for the next event. Give them the date so they can put it in their diary, and they can start planning to be there as well.
Yeah, I love it. And when we talk about things like this, everyone's welcome to do what works for them. If you can't afford to give away, you don't have to give away. If you want to give away, like, maybe it's 4 sachets of Elite,
We've actually been doing just getting like a little bottle of water from Woolworths or whatever, and just attaching 1 stick of Elite and sitting that at each person's spot, and people absolutely love that. That's if you only have 6 people there, that's 6 sachets of Elite, so it's a sort of cost effective way to do it as well.
I love it. And it's just really getting creative. And, I love seeing if everyone shares all their different tips, because everyone has different ideas. So I'll see what some of the other girls do and go, oh, wow, that's a great idea. We want to try that. And it's all trial and error. What works in Victoria might not work in New South Wales or vice versa. But it's just pretty much just getting out there, deciding we basically want to just get this message out there. Jodie, and what about online? You guys have done some online as well?
Yeah. We love online events because they're so you can set them to any day, time, whatever suits, and give people the replay option as well. So I think what I sort of struggled with myself, other people might struggle with this as well, but since we merged with RX, I felt sort of overwhelmed. There's so many different products. How do I fit that into each event? And I felt like if I didn't talk about every range, the person wouldn't know and they're going to miss out and da-da-da-da-da. But something that Sonny and I have been doing now, we just pick out 4 products and just talk about those 4 products at the event, whether it's online or whether it's, face-to-face as well. So pick, I know like Claire just did a online event just on the oils. She just talked about how they've helped her family and helped her kids, and just a small little online event for people to access the information. And it's really simple. It doesn't cost you anything to do. You can do it, if your kids are at school between 9 and 3, do the event during the day when the house is quiet. And as long as people tick going and you set the times and dates up right, they can catch the replay later. You can tag them in it. So it's a really good, simple way just to do a little 15-minute presentation online.
Yeah. Well, has anyone got any questions or anything so far around what we've sort of spoken about? Is anyone kind of, unsure about how to get any of this started or anything like that? Good. Yeah, cool.
I think just get started. Just give it a go because we just keep waiting and waiting till we're perfect, till we've got enough people, till we've got the presentation. But just like women just want to come together and hang out with each other. And if that's how you think of it, just invite them there for a coffee or a wine or whatever and give value to them. Don't freak out too much about talking about products and knowing everything about the ingredients and all of this. Just think of it as a community event, creating that networking event, and give value like talk about a specific issue that your audience might be faced with, you know, just talk about weight loss and hormones, and find some facts and figures and tell people that, and share stories, and just
yeah. I love that. And I think especially if there is something in particular that you've had a great transformation with yourself, like whether it's your own elite journey or the drops or Skincerity, whatever it is, if you're just sharing that. And I think it's really important. The main thing that I've learned about presenting is if you're sharing your story, you're not getting anything wrong. There's nothing to get wrong. No one can argue that you've got that fact wrong or you've done this or that's not true. If you just share your story and what you love about whatever product it might be, and then we all have access to the testimony pages where we can say, you know, so maybe you're presenting for a couple of girlfriends that haven't seen anything else yet, and you can just share your story and say, you know, I can add you into our testimony page so you can see more information. The testimony pages do a lot of the work for us. There's all types of, whether it's a business opportunity video or whether it's a product video. But if you're just sharing your story, you can't get that wrong. And that's what sometimes people want to hear. People want to hear how you felt. And I encourage people to get comfortable with sharing your story, even if it's sharing your before and after photos. I hated it when I had to share my before and after photos from the drops because I was mortified with how I looked. And I know I've got friends who would have been like, oh my God, like look at her body. But what if I helped another mum who was feeling the way I was feeling, who felt, you know, the words that I've written with that, which is how I felt. If that can help someone else, then that's my job done. So a lot of people struggle with sharing their own story, but if you can share that and thinking of who else is feeling how I felt prior to having that product. I know same as with my skin transformation. I hated how I felt. I hated having pimples on my arms and on my back when I went through high school and not wanting to wear swimmers to the swimming carnival because of my skin. But if I could share that with someone else and that could help them to not go through what I'd been through, well, then it's worth it. So I think, you know, finding a story for yourself and being and that comes back to being a product of the product, really using the products properly so you do get a transformation. And I think that's pretty much the main part of what we do is sharing stories. So if you don't have a story yet, you've got so many to share. You might want to share mine. You might want to share Jodie's. It might be, you know, anyone within our team. If you watch the videos and hear those stories yourself, you're also welcome to share them. So for me, in the beginning, when I wanted to share the business story, I didn't have that story to share. So I would share someone else's. This is what's happened for a friend of mine, and this is why I'm doing this, because I want to have that residual income. I want to be able to be at all my kids' school events or whatever it might be. And so I didn't have that to share, but I now have my own to share. But prior to that, I used someone else's. So that's something else that we can all do as well. So don't feel like you have to have your story, because we're not all going to have a story for every single product or everything. But that's the power of sharing stories as well, or using videos like Jodie said. So simple to use a video.
Yeah, my mum actually, I was meant to go with her the other day to a coffee date thing, but I couldn't make it with her. And I said, you're going to be fine. This is what you're going to do. You're going to take the iPad, you're going to show the video, and then we're going to do a call once you've shown the video. And it is amazing. So this girl's joining the business, and it was simply, you know, showing a video, you know, and connecting and being there and visiting her, and, you know, just making and listening. I think that's another, you know, we get so nervous and we just want to keep talk and giving people too much information, but actually just sit back and listen and get good at asking people questions. What are you struggling with? And in a presentation we've been saying, who here knows someone who's suffered with acne, and getting people to put up their hands, like, and creating that engagement as well with the audience. So thinking about questions and stuff that you can ask your audience or whoever you're meeting with as well is really, really important.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that I know your mum's not the most confident person either to go and do something like that. And how awesome is that?
Yeah.
there's a way for everyone to do it, and for her to be able to just share that video and know that, okay, I just got to do this, and then I'm going to add into a call, and then, you know, get started. So it's really, really great to have all the different options we have, and the support. So I encourage you guys to use it, use the support that's there amongst the team. And so I guess, obviously, Jo, consistency is huge. So have you had events planned that no one comes to?
Oh, yes. And I get so overwhelmed, like the 24 hours before every event. Like, it's 3 years in the business and I'm still the same. I'll call Sonny and I'll be like, oh, what if no one comes? And then no one does come, and it's like, oh, well, I'll enjoy the cheese and the wine and whatever, and we have a bit of a laugh. But the people, like I said earlier, that are actually watching, and you're opening that conversation by simply inviting someone to come along, you know, and, you know, just keep inviting them each month. They're eventually going to come along and see that it's not scary. We're not waving clipboards around and forcing them to do things that they don't want to do. And word will just spread in your community that, yep, she's safe. You can go to her information session. She's not going to hold you down and force you to buy stuff. So consistency is everything. Just showing up every day. My other tips were to get out in your community. When you're dropping your kids to school, picking them up, get out of the car and get in the practice of talking to people and asking people questions. Be interested in them, and it's just going to naturally build those connections with everyone around you. You know, at your kids' netball games or wherever you are, actually push yourself to talk to people and ask them questions, and yeah, just get out there and mingle and create those connections with people.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I know before I really took this business seriously, the thought of talking to heaps of people like that, it just did not fit well with me. I was the person who, where if I was on a plane, I'd sit like this. I don't want to talk to you, don't want to talk to you. It's kids' school events, I drop them and then in they go and see you later, and no, I'm not looking, I don't want to have the conversation. I'm not actually comfortable talking to strangers. And even though I've got quite a lot of people think that I have that outgoing personality, which I do when I know you, but to talk to other people, I'm not that confident. And so it has been something that I'm continually practicing to try and make conversation, look for conversation sometimes. And it doesn't have to be about anything about what we're doing. It's just connecting, right? And like you said, asking questions. And that's how we're gathering the information. Then there potentially is a chance where we can offer a solution to their problem. There might not be, but it's just I challenge you guys to practice that. It's really interesting to do, and everyone needs something that we have to help. I just want to go back on when you just spoke about when we said about people not turning up, and we all have had a time where we've had an event booked in, whether it's an in-home presentation or something like that, and everyone starts to cancel on you an hour, 2 hours before. The messages start rolling in. Every time you hear your phone beep, you go, here we go.
Yeah.
And Sarah, I'm going to throw you under the bus with this. A couple of weeks ago, Sarah had an in-home booked, and she's like, oh, they're going to start cancelling. And when they did start cancelling, and she was stressing about it, and I'm like, nope, it's okay. You've still got it. It was the day before, and I'm like, keep going. What are we going to do? And she just went about it like a ninja. Do you want to share what you did, Sarah?
Just take myself off of mute. Yeah, so I actually just started, because I was really determined after speaking to AK. I was like, right, we're just going to get on with this. I'm not going to cancel. We're going to do it. But I didn't want to have nobody turn up at all. So I actually just forced myself to start asking people that I might not usually ask, posted in different groups I probably wouldn't usually have posted in, and just went all in trying to invite people. And in the end, I did have a couple of people come along, and it was actually just a really good opportunity to just practice presenting, going through the products and feeling more comfortable about what we were talking about. I actually had one of the people she's actually promoted the products to other people. She's bought product. She actually very, very almost signed up to the business as well. It's not the right timing for her, but who knows for the future. But yeah, it was actually a really positive experience. And then the feeling afterwards of knowing that I pushed through it and that I didn't cancel, and that we went ahead and we had an event, and we took pictures as well, and then people are watching. So people have since asked about, when are you going to do another one of those? Oh, next time, you know, do you think we could come along, or just let me know? So everyone's watching, even if you just get that one or two people there. Like I heard you saying before, when we've had the public events, they're not always, you know, high in numbers, but other people don't know that either, and so they see what's going on, they see that consistency, and they want to be a part of it. So I definitely recommend push through, even when it's hard and you feel like everybody just hates you at one point, because that does go through your head. They're just like, why does no one want to come to my events? What's wrong with me? But people don't see it like that. People have things that come up, and often it's very genuine reasons. So really important to just push through and have that feeling on the other side of being glad that you did it. So
yeah, I love that. And it was so great for me to see the change in Sarah. Like, if she had have cancelled, which would have been the easier way out, right? Like, no one's coming, I'm just going to cancel. And how she would have felt compared to how she did, and even just seeing her present, and each time she presents she gets more confident and feels at the end, and I even have this, whenever you present, the other night when I did the online one with Paula, I got off feeling like, yes, this was so good again, and you remember why you started, and it's so much fun and it's great. And you know, who knows who else saw it and got anything out of it, but I felt really great after it. And I know I loved seeing that confidence grow in Sarah from doing it. And it's so true that the hard thing is we all take it personal when everyone pulls out. And, you know, we're human. Of course we are. We're disappointed when our friends aren't supporting us, or our family members, or, you know, people that we would support. They're not there for us, but they don't actually know what it means to us sometimes either. So it's important to keep going, keep pushing through, keep inviting people, let them know how important this is. Ask for support. That's probably the biggest thing I've done recently. I've just actually put it on them and said, you know what, I would really love your support. I really need to get some people in this room, and if you could come along, I would be really grateful. Like, ask. Are you actually really asking people and telling them what it means to you? Because if you're not, they just think, oh, whatever, she won't care if I don't come. She, you know, I'm tired. So just ask them and let them know what it means, and see, you know, if that can, you know, if they can help you. I'm just checking. Yeah, be patient, Caprice. Absolutely. And yeah, party for one. Yeah, party for one. So it's completely normal. So I encourage you guys, if everyone pulls out except for one person, I know there's been so many times people say, well, we still go ahead, I've only got one person, I probably should cancel. Hell no, never cancel. That one person could be the one. And having the time, like, I actually like a smaller party rather than a big one. If you've got 20 people coming, it's really hard to connect with each of those people. The smaller ones are the most successful, because that's where we can chat and find out how we can help them most. So don't ever give up on that one person. And that one person, you know, you just don't know. So I just say go ahead with it. Do invite till the very end. You know, if the night before people are dropping out, start inviting again, and reevaluate maybe how you're asking people. Reach out for help if you're having the same answers all the time. Maybe ask someone else. I'm forever asking, what are you guys doing? Oh, you're having a successful party. What have you done? I ask everyone. I don't care if they're in my downline 20 lines down. I want to know what everyone's doing, because I'm open to hearing whatever. So, and I think if you sort of like that, that's obviously good as well, because we're always learning from each other. If you're having success, share it with everyone, because we all want to help. Yes, Sarah.
Can I just, you touched on it a little bit earlier. I think, Jodie, you were saying about, you posted in a group about the women's kind of wellness like meetup.
Mhm.
that you were having, but I just wondered what you have most success with. Is it kind of individually, obviously not for cold market, but individually inviting people, so sending a message or
Oh,
sending the event
yeah,
out, or is it better
100%.
to post in groups? Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what I've struggled with, because I feel like when I individually invite people, I keep inviting the same people to like all of my events, and they're just like, oh, she's inviting me to this again. Whereas sometimes in groups I get a few different people that I wasn't expecting would be invested, pipe up and say, oh, this looks good. And so I just struggle to know how to go about it.
That's yeah, definitely personal invitations, and even voice messaging. That's what I'm finding is really working, because they can hear the excitement in your voice. And I don't tell them like the time and all the details in that message. I just say, like, hey, Shelley, hope you're having an awesome week. I'm having an event next week on Thursday. Are you free? Or something like that, just with really short, with a question that they have to come back. Or, you know, I need your help. Are you free next Thursday? Or something along those lines. And then, you know, create that conversation instead of just sending a big long text saying, I'm doing this and it's going to be this and it's going to have that and this is the time. And they just sort of get this text message going, whoa, what's this crazy woman doing? Sort of building that relationship with them. The groups, that works good for cold contacts, obviously. And depending on the person, like I'll friend request them and create a bit of a connection with them for, you know, upcoming different events like that. But definitely one-on-one personal messaging is by far the best way to do it. Something else I was going to say and I've forgotten.
I think why we sort of talk about the importance of like event to event as well is if you are in groups and you are working in cold market. I know for me, I've had people recently that have sort of messaged me from a group saying, you know, what is it that you do, which I've sort of shared some information. But now I've gone back through, because in 2 weeks' time we've got our Newcastle event for the opportunity. So I've now gone through those messages and written down their names, so I can now invite them to this event. So it's sort of important to be having the events so that when you've got the people there, you can then have something to invite. So if we didn't have any events planned for 3 months, well then, you know, how am I going to share it with people? So you know, that's sort of the importance of getting something from one.
And when someone messages back and says, oh no, I'm busy, I can't make it, then that's when you can say, oh, no worries, I know life's busy, our next one will be whatever the next date is. Like you're telling them, you know, a few weeks in advance, sort of setting it up so that they're prepared for you to message them again in 3 weeks' time, sort of thing.
Or does an online event suit you better? So what I do, if I can't, if they can't come to that event, that's what I'll offer. I'll say, does an online event suit you better? Yep, great. So what do? I'll then create an online event for that person and, you know, obviously invite everyone I can. So that's the beauty of this. We can do whatever. And even for you guys, if you're not sure how to do that, I can help you do that as well. So basically we want to have something there for anyone. So if they're stuck at home and they can't get out, all right, perfect, let's do this. Or we'll share one of our videos that's already done. You know, would it suit you better if I could send you a video that goes for about 9 minutes? Yep, that's fine. Okay, cool. I'll send it to you and then I'll check in with you after you've watched it to see what you liked and if you've got any questions. So we've got to kind of have that solution for their problems. So if they can't get out, we've got it. If they can come, perfect. If not, we'll book another date in. So it's sort of just not giving up with that no, I can't make that day. We want to be able to help them the best we can.
Yeah, and if you get a message back from someone and you're like, oh no, I don't know what to do, like message or call or, you know, contact someone in the team and say, this is what they've said, what would you do? Like AK said before, ask other people, you know, what would you do? What would you say? What question would you use? I'm not sure what to do with this person. You know, that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, and I know we still do that all the time. Today when I was with Paps and Jenko, Jenks had some message come through and she's like, oh, what will I say? And between us, we all sort of had our say, perfect, okay, I'll do that. And so that's the power of our team. We've got they're all different strengths there. So don't feel like you've got to answer it yourself, or, you know, there's a lot of times I don't know what to say back still. So I'll ask someone else or gather some different ideas and then go, yeah, okay, that sounds like what I'd like to go with. So just remember that as well. We're all still always learning from each other, and questions you ask, the more, you know, successful you're going to be, because you're learning every time you ask. So please feel free to ask anytime you need, and don't feel afraid to do that.
And get out and go to other events in your area as well, other networking events. I've really been trying to do that this last 12 months, and it's just changed everything. Just like they advertise them in the paper, like your local shire will do little business of it. Just anything that you think, oh, that might be cool, just go along and mingle. And, you know, you don't need to talk about what you do and have a goal of trying to prospect every person. Just getting out and getting your face known and things like that is so, so powerful.
I really love that. And most of the events, they're free, because the people who are hosting them, they want to attract more business. So at the end of it, they'll probably try and sell you their course or their book or whatever, which is fine. You might love it and you might want to buy it, or you might not want to. But some of them are $40, whatever. But I see all these opportunities as well as it's a chance to network, but you might also brush up on some skills. It might be a confidence one, or it might be another, like a wellness or a women's workshop or whatever. And it's also a way you might go along and meet two really lovely ladies that you connect with, who you can add as a Facebook friend. So with all of these opportunities as well, you don't have to always go straight to it. You might just connect, have a great time. If you add someone as your Facebook friend, and if you're intriguing correctly, you won't need to tell them about it. They'll come to you and they'll ask you, what is it that you actually do? So all of these little things come together as well for your events. So yeah, that's a really great tip, Jode. And I know you've learnt some really great things too from going along to these events. Might be something that you decide, oh, that was really nice how they did that. I'll incorporate that into mine.
Yep, definitely.
You might even be supporting other friends in other businesses, like whatever it is. If you can sort of show other people that support and put your energy out there, that's absolutely all good. And it might seem like it's a long, you know, you're doing a lot for not much in return, but if you keep doing these types of things and keep that consistent action, it eventually all really comes together and pays off. And it might take time, but I promise you it happens. As long as you're consistent.
Yes, consistency. Open your shop every single day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. You can't have
show
up
and
not show up. Yep. Love it. Has anyone else got any questions or anything? Everyone's good? Yeah, cool. And so I guess one last thing I'll add is that I know, like with the events, and it's great that you turn up yourself to the team events, but I encourage you to bring people to it, because your business isn't going to grow if you turn up by yourself. So if there's an event on in your area, do what you've got to do. Make sure you're inviting correctly, and just ask them, hey, can you do me a huge favor? I'd really love to bring a guest along to this event that I've got. I know you'll love it. You don't have to buy anything. Just come along. You'll love connecting with the other girls that I work with. Come along and check it out. And just do what you can to get people there, because that's how your business is going to grow. If you're not getting people in front of the message, it's not going to happen. You know, it's great. I love that people come along and share the community vibe and have a good night, but we really need to be thinking about how many people we're going to bring along to each event. So try and plan ahead. Make it a bit of a priority for yourself in your business that you are inviting to the events. Whether or not you've got to say, hey, I can pick you ladies up on the way. That's easier for some. And just, or whether or not you want to grab dinner, let's grab dinner together first, because that might be what they want. They might want to get away from the kids or the husband or whatever and just have a girls' night. So let's go have dinner first, and then we'll just pop in and watch this information session that goes for, 20 minutes, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got heaps happening at the moment. So we have got online, we have got face-to-face presentations. The more you guys want, let us know and we can keep it happening. But I encourage you to turn up yourself. I encourage you to bring some people along. If you haven't got anything in your area, let's make it happen. Reach out. I'd love to help you get it started. And so we're coming into that time of year now where everyone's going to start to spend money. Christmas is coming up, so think of different ways we can do this. We have got the access to MV Jewelry now, which I know a fair few of you guys have jumped on board with as well. Try not to get overwhelmed. Like Jodie said, just think of your top 4 products that you love that you want to talk about. And if you can share that with your passion and excitement, that's all you need to really do.
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks so much for joining us for all your awesome tips tonight, Jodes. I'm excited to see many more things happening in everyone's area. Have you got a question, Jill?
Yes, please. If anyone does host anything at home and they've had success, could they share it in one of these Zooms just to let us know what did work for them and how it all worked out?
Do you mean like just an in-home presentation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And how they went, what worked, what didn't work, what did they promote. So
has anyone had one recently in home that they want to share? Not recent? No. I know for me, the in-homes that have always worked was just, well, a small amount of product. So whether it's focusing on one, I love, like, then let's say we do the new Cerity range. Great, because you can test at the end. So just a short little presentation about the products, a little demo on their hands at the end, because people love to be able to, feel the products. So let's say if we're doing the Slenderize range, you might have a smoothie done up, or you might have some Elite done up, or whatever it might be for people to try. A bit of interactive, but it depends on what you've invited them for. Obviously, if you're inviting them for the new Cerity products, and then just a short presentation. I think the information needs to be kept really short. Sometimes people think that everyone needs to know everything about it. If I used to hear someone else presenting and think, oh my God, she forgot to tell this, she forgot to say that. No one knows. They don't care about that. They want to know why you love it. Why is it different to something else? And they want to just try it and see how it feels. Sharing before and after photos is really awesome, because that captures people's attention. So if you've got a few different things there to show before and after photos, and that's pretty much it. It's just, the rest, it happens itself, because people really see the value in the products when they can see that they've worked. I encourage everyone, if you're having an in-home presentation, I like the guests to be already added into our testimony page, because they can really know. Because I know personally, if you can see, I saw a difference in presenting. If people didn't know anything about it, they would just sit there with their arms folded, not really interested, super skeptical. But if you've already seen some before and after photos and they're like, oh yes, I really want to hear about that skin Cerity, because they're already interested in how it works, so they're going to come along a lot more open. So that for me has really helped as well.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I can't wait to see more and more photos of everyone presenting or getting out there. If you haven't presented, seriously, just do it. It gets easier and easier the more you do it. And I have to say, for me, the more I do it, the more excited I am again. I remember that spark gets reignited every time I present. If I go weeks without it, I do start to feel a bit flatter. So I encourage you to do it. Even if it's in front of 1 or 2 people here or there, keep doing it. Coffee catch up, whatever it's got to be.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.